Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina. Welcome to the Sunday night live stream show, y'all. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out. Hopefully you're ready for a great time and some good fishing talk. And hopefully you're ready to win some free trips. We give away $1,500 in free trips every Sunday night during this live stream show. We give away a 5-hour half day for two, a 10-hour all day for two, and a 39-hour fishing trip for one lucky winner as well. Plus, we answer your questions live, talk about what's going on now, what's coming up, and more. So hopefully you're ready for a good time. Remember, the show is every Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. So make sure you tune in every week to give yourself plenty of chances to win free trips, learn more, and just hang out and talk fishing with our Hubbard's Marina fishing family. So thanks for being a part of the live stream show. Hopefully you guys are having a great holiday weekend. Happy Memorial Day to everybody out there. Definitely looking forward to a good time tonight, and hopefully you are as well. Want to make sure we start out by giving a shout out to our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle. Remember, Gator Jim's Tackle is the title sponsor of the show. They have an incredible selection, killer deals, awesome people. Definitely check out our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle. If you haven't done so already, you're missing out. An incredible shop over there at 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. Stop by and tell Gator Jim's Hubbard's Marina sent you. Also, want to make sure we give a shout out to all of those supporters out there, our supporters family who are watching the show. We appreciate everybody as well. The supporters are a way for you to join our private supporters group on Facebook. It's only $4.99 a month. Gives you access to a private supporters group, gives you access to our private supporters after show, and gives you more communication, behind the scenes info, and up to date, more behind the scenes stuff. So definitely worth checking out. Only $4.99 a month. And we really appreciate all those of you in our supporters group. Plus, want to give a shout out to all those who are sending stars. Stars are a way for those watching on Facebook to help show their support and fuel the show as well. We had Mark Higgins, Robert Riggs, Larry White with a big 500. We had Brian Eakins as well, Jason Richmond, LaShonda Brown, Nick Nieves, Gary Camage, Jeff Reedy with a big 1,200 stars, Nick Nieves with a big 1,150, Stephen Batchelor with 500, thanks buddy, Nick Nieves again, Barry Long, David Smith, we had Tim Dykes with a big 600, thank you buddy, Chris Molina, and Jason Richmond, and also Jeff Markham as well. Appreciate all of you guys sending stars and helping fuel the show. Don't forget, if you want a chance to win free trips, this is how you do it. You comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. You watch the entire show live. Then you stay tuned throughout the entire show, and at random intervals, we're going to do those giveaways. You'll see your name appear on the screen, and I will announce your name. That is how you enter to win, by commenting once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream, and then you watch the entire show live. Your name appears on the screen, I announce your name, and then you text us your full home address within 5 minutes to prove you're watching live. So watch the entire show, comment once, and then make sure you stay tuned, because if you're picked as one of the lucky winners, you see your name on the screen, you got 5 minutes or less to text us at the phone number on the screen your full home address. So that's how you enter to win, and that's how you get a chance to win. And we ask everybody, please make sure that you comment, whether you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Trovo, whatever platform you're watching on, whatever page you're watching on, make sure you comment and like or thumbs up, and make sure you follow us as well. We really appreciate it. Denise Irvin, we appreciate those stars. Sam Lang with the big 830. Tyler Maloof, appreciate you as well. Thank you all for the stars, for sure. All right, so with that, we want to get right into the photos and show you guys photos of what we've been catching. We always start inshore, show you the photos of what we're catching inshore. Then we work our way near shore and offshore and show you guys what we're catching a little deeper. Then we get into the weather, tell you a little bit about what's going on weather-wise, and then we get into your questions. So if you have a question that you want answered live during the show, make sure you text us your questions to the phone number on the screen. That's how you get your question answered live during the show. So let's get right into these photos and show you guys what we're catching inshore. So inshore right now, we've definitely been seeing some good action on the redfish. The redfish action's been going pretty well for us inshore. Been seeing some nice redfish around the passes and moving around the mangrove shorelines and such as well. Some pretty solid, steady redfish action. They're starting to school up a little bit. Well, I'm sure we'll hear from Capt Mike, and he'll tell us a little bit more in detail what's going on. But red fishing has been pretty solid, and a lot of snook moving into the passes and onto the beaches. Our buddies out there on the beach are crushing the snook. Scott and his friends are definitely doing well. We're seeing a lot of snook around the passes. We're coming up on that new moon, so the nighttime dock light and bridge light fishing for snook should be really hot the next few days as well. But snook are definitely showing up more and more and more in the pass, which is exciting. It's getting to be that time of year. Water temperatures are definitely coming up, and things are looking really, really good for us. As you can see, snook are solid. Plus, trout action surprisingly staying pretty solid as well. Definitely seeing some steady trout action, even with the water temperatures really creeping up fast. We've still been seeing some pretty large trout around the area, which is exciting to say the least. So pretty awesome to see such a steady trout bite, even with the water temperatures getting high and hot. Snook have been a little late with the water temperatures coming up so much. I thought they'd be a little thicker in the pass already, but they're starting to get better and better, which is exciting, and always an exciting, fun time of year for us to go out and get some of those snook in the mornings prior to sunrise around the dock lights and bridge lights of Johns Pass. Offshore, seeing some nice solid gag groupers, some catch and release gag groupers. Lots of keeper red grouper. The red grouper bite's been going pretty well for us. Seeing a few of these hogfish still, despite warming weather. It's definitely been a little bit more challenging on the hogfish front. We're not catching quite as many. They're not as thick, but we're still seeing a few of them here and there, which is always a pleasant surprise. Some nice lane snapper. The mahi-mahi action has really settled into the area. The mangrove snapper bite is going pretty steady for us as well, from the near shore waters all the way offshore, seeing some stud mangrove snappers, some keeper red grouper, even near shore on our 10-hour trips and closer to shore hub charters. So the red grouper are pretty solid and seemingly picking up a little bit. As you can see here, some 10-hour red grouper looking pretty impressive. The Flying Up 2 is doing well on the red grouper too. The 12-hour extreme today got about 15 grouper and some nice triggerfish numbers to go along with plentiful grouper numbers. Some nice mangroves as well. The Flying Hub 2 private charters are crushing them. Some catch and release red snapper, but not too much longer. We'll be able to keep those red snapper here very, very soon, which is exciting. Blackfin tuna fishing has been picking up. We've been seeing more of these blackfin tuna as well. So pelagic action is starting to heat up a little bit. Those blackfin tuna normally pick up really well for us, and we do really well starting in like January, February, March, and they get really hot like April, May. We haven't really seen that yet, so I'm hoping that we get a big push of those blackfin tuna here very shortly, so we'll see. All right, let's see here. We talked about the what we're catching now. Let's get into the weather and show you guys what's going on here weather-wise and get more into that. So we're going to go to hubbardsmarina.com and pull up our website here. Let's see if I can make the buttons work. All right, so hubbardsmarina.com. On our website, we're going to hit fishing trips. Then we're going to hit weather links. On the weather links page, we're going to start in our 5 and 10 hour forecast area. And you can see here really, really nice weather forecasted all the way through most of this week. Picks up a little bit here over the weekend. And not quite sure what this one is. You know what I think that is a little front that kind of pushes down. Let's see if that's a little tropical, because that's a west wind. If that was a front, it would shift out of the north, and it never really shifts out of the north. So we'll have to investigate why all of a sudden we're getting that little push of weather right there. So we'll look at that. But long story short, as you can see here, a majority of this week, Sunday through Thursday, is 10 mile an hour or less, 2 foot or less. Really looking good. Even into Friday is really looking good. But May 31st, that Saturday of the weekend coming up, looks like it might get a little nautical. And let's go back to the weather links page and go to the ultimate storm forecast page, spaghettimodels.com. Our friend Mike at Mike's weather page. And let's pop on over to Tropical Tidbits and see why that is happening. First, we got to change regions. Let's go to the southeast. That was May 31st, right? So here's May 28th, May 29th, May 30th, May 31st. So yeah, just the tail of a cold front. Oops, hit the play button. So you can see that's a cold front, a big low pressure. And then Friday, that low pressure line extends into the Gulf, gets dragged through our area. So they're forecasting basically for some rain and some wind with the tail of this cold front. So interesting. It's a cold front, but not a cold front. So that will be interesting to watch, and most likely that forecast is going to fluctuate a little bit because it could get more strength if it hangs out over the Gulf, goes a little bit slower, builds a little bit more storms, or it could totally disappear if that tail doesn't lengthen out. So will be interesting to watch as we move through this week, but we know most of this week is going to be really, really nice weather. So exciting stuff there. What's June 3rd? I wonder what that is. We'll go back, go forward to June 3rd. Why are they calling for nasty weather June 3rd? Oh, little tropical system, little sneaky tropical system. Of course, the very beginning of red snapper season, why would it not get a little bit tropical on us? So let's zoom out a little bit. Yep, little tropical wave hanging out down there. So this is the area right here, south east of Cuba, and kind of meanders around, doesn't really build much pressure. Starts to get its act together right there directly south of us, June 3rd, and then kind of jumps north on us. Looks like it gets some spinach too there off of the coast of Jacksonville, St. Augustine area. So we'll keep an eye on that, but if you have a trip booked for June 3rd and you're looking at that like, what? Don't worry, because it is very early, and that is a long ways out. And a lot of times weather, especially weather like that, tropical weather, is very, very typical in the first part of June to be very up and down, and I wouldn't be too concerned as of right now, for sure. All right, so we talked about the weather. We showed you the photos. Let's get into an event reminder. Remember, Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, we've got this great event coming up, the OCC Roadhouse event over there at OCC. Josh is going to put the link to the Facebook event in the chat for you guys. Again, that is this Tuesday, so not tomorrow, the day after. So 2 days from now at 7 p.m., myself and Capt. Mike Anderson will be in person live at Orange County Choppers Roadhouse off 49th Street up there in like North Pinellas Park. I think it's kind of Clearwater actually, but South Clearwater. It's a really, really, really cool place. Incredible food, really great drinks, and we're going to be giving away Real Animal swag. We're going to be giving away Hubbard's Marina swag, an Engel cooler, Bull Bay rods, plus we're going to be answering your questions live in person. So it is going to be a good time. Hopefully we're going to see everybody out there. Again, that's Tuesday, May 27th, 2 days from now, this Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m. You could show up at 7, or you could show up at 5 and get some dinner beforehand. Or you could show up at 7 and eat dinner while we're talking. But definitely a good time, and definitely don't want to miss out. So hopefully we'll see everybody there again this Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m. is that event. So we look forward to seeing everybody come out and join us. Myself and Capt Mike Anderson and many more will be there. So going to be a good time. Hopefully everybody can make it. And remember, we're going to do that every, man, I got to look at a calendar. Is it every third Tuesday? Is that what May 27th is? I think it's the last Tuesday. No, every fourth Tuesday. Yeah, the fourth Tuesday of every month. So that means it will be June 24th will be the next one. So if you can't make it in 2 days, June 24th. So every fourth Tuesday of the month is the OCC Roadhouse event. So, oh God. Whew. I just looked forward to July, and I thought it was falling near my wife's birthday, but we're good. That was close. Had a little mini panic attack there for a second, but I'm safe. So we'll see you Tuesday night for the OCC Roadhouse event. Also want to make sure we remind you guys about our newly launched online store. Josh has spent a lot of time launching this brand new online store. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can get to it really easy on our website. If you're at hubbardsmarina.com on the home page, you can click the shop button right up at the top of the screen, right in the menu, and it will take you to our new and improved online store. It's really cool. There's a lot of really great stuff in here, and it's definitely worth a visit, the new online store. Josh, how do you get back to the website once you're on the store page? Because I had that question. I couldn't figure it out. Is there a button for that?
No, there will be a button.
Okay. I was wondering. I should have asked you that before the show, but I just remembered it once we were on the page. It's definitely really cool. So definitely check out shop.hubbardsmarina.com or go to hubbardsmarina.com and hit that shop button to get there. And you are going to love it. It's really awesome. Really does a good job showcasing all the hats and apparel and shirts that we have, and more stuff is being added all the time. Also, we have some new voting. So we were nominated for the Besties Award, the Visit St. Pete Clearwater Besties Award. We won that for the second year in a row. We're super pumped. We were nominated for the fourth year in a row as the top charter boat in the entire country by USA Today, and hopefully we're going to win that. Voting ends tomorrow, so hopefully you're still voting daily for the best charter boat in the country, because tomorrow is the last day to vote. So you only have today and tomorrow left to vote. USA Today top 10 best, it's called. But we just found out we were also nominated for the best of the Bay by, I think it's St. Pete Times, Tampa Bay Times, one of those. And Josh has added that to our website. So right at the top of our hubbardsmarina.com, you can vote for us for the best fishing charter in Tampa Bay. You click that red button and it will take you to the best of the best, Tampa Bay bestofthebest.com. And you're going to go over to sports and recreation, and then you're going to go over to fishing charter boat, and you want to vote for Hubbard's Marina as the best charter boat. You'll add, and then you can go to choose new category if you want, and you can go over to arts and entertainment, and then go to local tourist attraction. You can also vote for Hubbard's Marina as the best local tourist attraction as well. And then once you've added us as the best local tourist attraction and best charter boat, you can hit choose new category and hit, shopping, and then go down to seafood market, and you can vote for Don's Dock as the best seafood market. So Hubbard's Marina is best local tourist destination, best fishing charter boat, and then Don's Dock as best seafood market, and then submit your voting ballot. And if you really want to go in above and beyond, you can also vote for the Friendly Fisherman Restaurant as best beach bar, I think, right, Josh? It's like best beach bar and best waterfront restaurant, I think. Yeah, Friendly Fisherman is also nominated, which is our sister store, our restaurant right next door, where you can get your fish cooked up fresh after your trip. So definitely check out the Friendly Fisherman, and if you have time, vote for them too. Super exciting and super blessed to be nominated. Now that voting closes June 1st, so we're really late. It's been open for 25 days, so we're late to the ball game. So we need you to pour the pressure on that tonight, tomorrow, the next couple days. Basically, we have 5 days left to vote for that. So help us out, catch us up on the best of the best, because we won the best fishing charter boat last year. We won the best gift shop last year. So we want to keep our title for sure. All right, and then red snapper season. It's around the corner. June 1st is red snapper season, all the way through end of day, September 15th. Some people are confused. Some people thought it closed August 15th, and that's my fault. Apparently, I said August 15th in one of my early videos, so I apologize if I confused anybody, but red snapper season opens June 1st, and it runs through end of day September 15th. So we have a long red snapper season ahead. June is really, really booked. July is kind of booked. August is pretty much wide open. The first week or two of September is really booked. And then the last couple days of snapper season, like September 10th through 15th, has a lot of room as well. So definitely book up your red snapper trips June 1st through September 15th. Remember, gag grouper should be open September 1st for about 6 to 10 days. Remember, amberjack is supposed to be open September and October, but there's a chance that it will not open at all because they claim that we overfished amberjack last year by 250%, which is ridiculous. And then triggerfish are open all year except for January, February, June, and July. So triggerfish are going to be closing here in the next couple days for 2 months. Keep that in mind. And then red grouper. We talked a lot about red grouper. Red grouper was supposed to be closing sometime end of May or into June. But doesn't seem like red grouper's going to close. They passed that emergency rule to double the quota. So I think we're going to have good news on the red grouper front. But we're going to find out for sure. Glad I have my calendar open still. Not this week, but the week after, the week of June 1st, is our next Gulf Council meeting. The Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council. They changed the name. It's Gulf Council now. They just changed it to Gulf. Really taking a stand on that name change. So the Gulf Council meeting is coming up June 2nd. And that is going to be happening in Tampa. They're having it at their office because it was supposed to be in Key West, but because of funding potentially not coming, they changed it to having it at their offices in Tampa to try to save money. So pretty interesting, and will be a little bit different. So we'll see how it shakes out for us, but we'll find out for sure on the red grouper situation. We'll find out for sure on, or we'll have a better idea on the amberjack and also the gag situation as well. So pretty interesting. We'll learn a lot next week. Not this week, next week. Tomorrow or Tuesday night, you'll learn a lot at OCC Roadhouse, though. All right. That is the announcements I had to get to. It seems like Capt Mike forgot about us. I feel like. No phone call from Capt Mike?
No call from Mike.
Wow. He's actually has a really busy weekend. I think he's like emceeing a tournament down there at South Seas Resort. Tarpon tournament, I believe. So we'll let Capt Mike off the hook for this one, but we missed his inshore report. But we'll see him Tuesday night at OCC Roadhouse from 7 to 9 p.m. Logan Gorman, appreciate those stars, buddy. Charles Carter with a big 500 stars. Jason Richmond, appreciate you, man. John Bull, Denise Irvin again, appreciate all the stars, folks. All right, so we've done the announcements. Now it's time to get into some of these questions. So before we get into questions, let's go ahead and do our first giveaway of the night. Let's do a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2 guests goes to Mark Garcia from Tampa. Congratulations, Mark. You are the lucky winner of a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. So congratulations, Mark. Remember, you got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address to the phone number on the screen. All right, with that, let's get into the questions. How much do we have to pay up front to make the reservation? You don't have to pay anything up front to make a reservation. We could just hold it with a credit card, or you could pay in full. It's up to you. Don't know if that was for the live show or not, but oh well. Are you going to bring back the swag pack? We're still recovering inventory-wise from the hurricane. Remember, Hurricane Helene took out our entire inventory, all our back stock. So we lost all our t-shirts. So we had a bunch of t-shirts specifically set aside to give away during our swag packs during the live show, but unfortunately they were wiped away in a hurricane. So as we build back our inventory and get more surplus in, then we will definitely do that. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be back. Someone asked, is Ben Mala really a pain in the ass? So for those who are unaware, Ben Mala is our landlord inside John's Pass. He bought the property in which Hubbard's Marina rents its facility from, and Ben Mala also has a popular YouTube channel, and he's got 1 million subscribers now, which is pretty awesome. So he's like huge on YouTube. So he does all these videos about real estate, and whenever he shows up, he always likes to come and try to chat with me, but I won't have it. Captain Chris likes him a lot, and Captain Chris is in a lot of his videos. But he recently did a video at the pass and came down and chatted with us. But he's definitely got a persona in his videos, and he's a really nice guy. But I deal mostly with his son, Ben Jr., and his son is definitely more business oriented. But yeah, they're great people. I enjoy working with them. We've had a lot of landlords. I've had a lot of landlords personally, and I've had a lot of commercial landlords that I've dealt with. And I have to say, the Malas are definitely some really good ones. Really good to work with, for sure. They're business people. We're all there to make money, right? But they do it in a respectful way, for sure. Do you get any cobia on these trips? I've never seen them yet. We've definitely seen a lot of cobia in the past, in the historical past. Like when I used to work on the charter boats when I was 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 years old, in that time frame. What's that, 20 years ago? We used to see cobia a lot. We would get 20 to 70 pound cobia pretty regularly, like once or twice a week. We just don't see that anymore. We used to see them real heavy in the spring and through the summer, and then real heavy again in the fall, kind of like with the kingfish. But we just don't see them like we used to. They've definitely been conversationally discussed at the Gulf Council and around the Gulf. People up in the northern Gulf really target cobia heavy, and they haven't been seeing the cobia numbers that they like either. We still have some nice cobia in Tampa Bay and around the mouth of Tampa Bay, but like we used to get a lot of cobia maybe 15 to 35 miles. We saw quite a few cobia, and then even offshore we would see cobia pretty frequently as well. We still see them every now and again, but I would say we get a nice cobia on trips once every 1 to 2 months, so maybe like twice a quarter. So it is way less frequent than we used to, for sure. I don't know. Definitely has slowed down cobia-wise. What bait do you use to catch red snapper? People are trying to make me say the C word. I'm not having it. Apparently, I said that a lot one night. I was unaware, and now it's an ongoing joke, so I've eliminated it from my vocabulary. But the best bait to catch red snapper, I would say, is anything. Red snapper, bite, anything. I would suggest, in order to catch the biggest red snapper, you got to think about selectivity, right? So if you want to catch a big red snapper, you want a big bait. Now that could be a dead bait, that could be a live bait, that could be a jig, that could be a variety of different things, methodologies. Red snapper are super aggressive, super dumb. So it doesn't matter really what you throw down there. Red snapper are going to take it. So something big, oily, smelly works really well. Bonita, mackerel, mullet. Bonita, I would say, is probably my favorite red snapper bait. If I wanted to go down and catch a really big red snapper, I'm going to drop a really good sized chunk, like a 10 to 12 to 14 inch chunk of bonita, really slowly, or drop it down fast until I can't see it anymore, then stop, and then drop it down real slowly until I start to get nibbles, and then kind of let it sit there for a minute. And if I don't get hammered, then I'll keep letting it go down all the way to the bottom, because the biggest red snapper are generally at the top or bottom of the water quality or water column. So really big dead baits. Then also you can keep in mind big live baits work really well. Squirrelfish, lizardfish, even some porgies, all a really good option. Octopus, squid, just some sort of really big bait is a good option. Big bait, big hook, big leader. I'm talking like 80-pound leader. You don't have to get crazy because they're not going to rock you up really. But they do have some teeth on them and some good gill plates, some heavier leader, some big hook, big bait, and you're going to select a bigger red snapper. You could drop down a 4/0 hook and a chunk of bait this big and still catch you a red snapper. But if you drop down a small hook and a small bait, you do have a chance for a big one. You might catch a 20-pounder because elephants do eat peanuts, right? But you're going to definitely have a better chance of catching a lot of smaller fish too. So smaller bait gets you more action, more bites, but the chance of catching that really big fish, the chances go down because you're going to have more fish trying to bite that bait. If you got a really big bait, those smaller fish aren't as likely to get that hook in their mouth. So they might bite that big bait, but they're not going to get that hook in their mouth. So bigger bait is going to increase your percentage chance of hooking that bigger red snapper. Plenty of times you drop down a 12-inch piece of bait and you catch a 10-inch red grouper. So it's not to say you can't catch a small fish on a big bait, but your chances definitely go up for catching a bigger fish. What is the best target species inshore around Fort DeSoto? Snook. Right now, snook, and more snook. Super light tackle out on the beach. You got to be really stealthy. Go early because there's so many freaking boats out there. So go early in the day before all the boaters show up to Shell Key and Egmont Key, before the boat traffic starts getting the water murky. Early in the day, later in the day, when there's not as much boat traffic is a good idea. And getting up there right along the surf. Those snook are cruising the surf looking for baits. I went out to Egmont Key with my family, and my kids and my wife were looking for shark's teeth, and I was too a little bit, but I just could not stop watching all these snook cruising that island, man. at the very north tip of Egmont Key where that deep water meets the island, the snook were just coming up and crushing baits. And guides were taking their charter clients there, and they were slinging white baits up into the sand, basically. The wave would come up and grab the white baits and push them back into the water, and snook were cruising into like 2-3 inches of water, eating these white baits. It was really fun to watch, and it was great fishing. So snook is definitely your go-to, and then fishing the bridges on the way to and from the beaches for snapper, mangrove snapper. Those would be my two go-to. Please explain slow pitch jig fishing and what's the best jigs to use on offshore trips. That is a whole video, brother. Explaining slow pitch jig fishing, basically, slow pitch jig fishing is like class 102, right? So if you've gone out on a 12-hour extreme or 39-hour trip and you've done it a few times, you've figured out what bait works really well, you're pretty confident you're going to go out there and catch some nice fish, you're catching mangrove snapper consistently and often. Once you've kind of like mastered fishing offshore with natural bait, dead bait, live bait, and you're really dialed in, slow pitch jig fishing is a great next step. If you've never been on a 12-hour or 39-hour, I would kind of generally say, hey, hold off on the slow pitch jig fishing for a while until you kind of master it, because it is a little costly. There's a little barrier to entry. You can, if you're balling on a budget, as we like to say during the show, you can get into slow pitch jig fishing. You can get a slow pitch jig rod and a slow pitch jig reel, a combo for $400, $500, $600. But the high end stuff, I mean, you're going to be spending $1,500, $2,000 on a combo. And then the jigs, they're not cheap. Some nice jigs, you're going to buy a jig without any hooks on it. You're going to have to buy a jig, you're going to have to buy assist hooks, you're going to have to buy split rings, then you're going to have to buy split ring pliers. You got to use braid, so that's expensive. So it gets a little bit pricey, a little quickly. But if you got $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, it's a really fun next level to offshore fishing. Now, I recommend it for intermediate to advanced anglers, and I recommend it as like the next step, and I recommend starting in deeper water. It's the opposite. Slow pitch jig fishing is the opposite of normal bait fishing. If you're starting fishing offshore, you want to start near shore. You want to start on our 5-hour trips, work your way up to a 10-hour trip, then get a little deeper. If you're slow pitch jig fishing, you want to start deeper. You want to be beyond 100, 120 foot of water to start. So you really want to, if you're going to get into slow pitch jig fishing, you really want to aim for a 12-hour extreme, 39-hour, 44-hour. Don't do a 10-hour trip expecting to slow pitch jig fishing unless you're a super experienced slow pitch jig fisherman, and then you're doing like the micro jigging, which is, again, like the next level up of slow pitch jig fishing once you've been doing slow pitch jig fishing for a few years. As far as the best jigs go, there's a lot of really good brands, Jig Pro, Ocean's Legacy, Johnny Jigs. The guys at Johnny Jigs are awesome. If you're getting into slow pitch jig fishing, they have a huge amount of resources on their YouTube channel, Johnny's Jigs. Jig Pro is JYG Pro. And then our buddy Tim Duncan and Fisherman's Hut also has a lot of stuff. Fisherman's Hut's right over the Skyway in Bradenton, and they are a slow pitch jig fishing tackle shop. Gator Gyms has a lot of slow pitch jig fishing stuff. I get a lot of jigs from Gator Gyms. And then Hubbard's Marina, we've got a ton of slow pitch jigs. Josh has brought up our slow pitch jigs on our online store. We have a huge selection of Johnny Jigs, Jig Pro. We have some from, we have some new stuff in here too. Oniworks, Saurus. There's a ton of stuff on our online store for slow pitch jig fishing. So definitely check it out. But basically, the rule of thumb is slow pitch jig fishing. You need a slow pitch jig rod. You can't just do this with any old rod. you want a slow pitch jig fishing rod, because that rod is going to load and recoil, and when it recoils, it's putting the action on the jig. Also, it really helps to kind of get into it with a few different sizes and shapes of jigs and find out what works for you. I personally like more wide, shorter, fatter jigs. They tend to flutter more and fall slower, and they're better for those more benthic species that want something in the water column a little longer, like mangrove snapper, red grouper, scamp, gag grouper. Some of those skinny, taller jigs, they fall more quickly, and they're good for like amberjack, for red snapper, some of those faster fish, and for more of the pelagics. So you have to kind of get into it and kind of find out what works for you, but definitely shorter, fatter are going to flutter more, slower falling generally. And that slower fall means you have the opportunity to catch more variety. Skinnier, taller fall faster, so generally more of the pelagic and faster reef fish species. It's a lot of fun. Definitely get into it. Let's see, we got some other questions. I could keep going, but I don't want to get too much into that rabbit hole. We've actually done whole live shows about slow pitch jig fishing. We just did one with Tim Duncan not too long ago, so there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. So we have a lot of resources on our website too. What size circle hooks do you recommend for deep water targeting larger fish? So your size of hook is going to be dictated by your size of bait. Generally, though, for offshore fishing, like this person said they were on the 39 hour, generally your smallest hook size is going to be around 5 to 6/0. Really, 6/0 is about as small as I would go on a 39-hour trip. And that's if I'm using a small chunk of threadfin at night with 40, 50-pound test for mangrove snapper. I'd be using 5, 6, 7/0 hooks, double snelled. Then during the day, I'd be using 7, 8/0 hooks, a little bit bigger chunks of threadfin. If I'm using live pinfish, at least 7, 8/0 hooks. If I'm using bigger pinfish, maybe 8, 9, 10/0 hooks. If I'm using a big bait, 10, 11, 12/0 hooks. So bigger the bait, the bigger the hook. How much fishing time on a 39-hour trip? It depends, but generally the rule of thumb is around 20 hours. About 7 to 9 hours out, about 7 to 9 hours back, around 20 hours of fishing time. But those trips, all trips are a little different, right? Sometimes we go a little bit further, sometimes we stay a little bit closer, sometimes on a 39-hour we'll go further to start, and then we'll kind of work our way back. So it might be a 9-hour ride out, and then a 7-hour ride back in, you know. So it kind of depends. Can you bring your own beer on the 12-hour extreme? So remember, any of our vessels that have an alcohol license, unfortunately the state of Florida says wherever there's an alcohol license you can't bring alcohol. So our party boats have alcohol licenses, so unfortunately we can't allow carry on alcohol. The 12-hour extreme happens on the Flying Hub 2, and on that boat we do not have an alcohol license. So to answer your question, yes, you can bring alcohol on a 12-hour extreme trip, but it's not really recommended to drink alcohol on the way out or during the trip. But on the way back in, it's a good idea to have a few beers. It's fun. So definitely recommend bringing some beers, but save it for the ride in, especially during the summer. It is so excruciatingly hot. If you drink beers the ride out on a 12-hour extreme, you are setting yourself up for a terrible experience. You're going to be cramped up, dehydrated, and you could potentially ruin the trip for everybody. So get hydrated before the trip, stay hydrated during the trip, enjoy your beers on the ride in. But no glass, because it is a metal aluminum boat. Someone said, is it true Ben Mala put the parking garage up for sale? So Ben Mala is our landlord at Hubbard's Marina, but a lot of people said, oh, he bought all of John's Pass. He didn't buy all of John's Pass. He's a really good advertiser, a really good businessman. And so when they did purchase that property, Tampa Bay Times did an article, and they said, Ben Mala buys John's Pass. They bought a small section of John's Pass. the Johns Pass parking garage, the Friendly Fisherman, and that 3-story boardwalk section. So basically, most, if not all, of that very southwest corner of Johns Pass is what they purchased. And I think the purchase price was around $16 million. I saw someone ask that earlier. And to answer the question, yes, everything is for sale. Ben's YouTube kind of like thing is called Life for Sale, or at least it was. That was his first kind of foray into YouTube, Life for Sale, because everything is for sale. And they have asked me many a time to buy that property from them. So to answer the question, yes, it's always listed for sale. So you could be our landlord. All right, so let's go ahead and give away another free trip, and then we'll continue to answer some more questions. We gave away our 5-hour half day for 2. Let's go ahead and do our 10-hour all day for 2 guests. 10-hour all day for 2 guests goes to, lucky winner is David Smith. Congratulations, my friend. You got a 10-hour all day for 2 guests. Definitely hope you get a chance to text us within the next 5 minutes to prove you're watching live and claim your free trip. Any good shark fishing near shore this time of year? Yes. More sharks, warmer water. More sharks during warmer water months. Bigger sharks in cooler water months. We have sharks all around, all the time. So, yes, right now is kind of almost peak time for the sharks. Once the tarpon really get here heavily, the bait's here really heavily, the sharks are here really heavily. So, definitely a good time to get out there and do some shark catching for sure. Someone said, do we sell fillet knives and gloves the crews use to clean fish in the shop? Yes, we sell all the fillet knives and gloves that the crew uses to fillet fish in our shop, because where do you think they get the gloves and the knives from? They oftentimes end up losing them or needing replacements, and they come inside and buy them there themselves as well. So we always stay heavily stocked up in knife sharpeners, gloves, and knives, fillet knives, for our crew, but also some of our guests as well. Are the mackerel still around? Yes, we're still seeing some mackerel around, but kingfish, not so much. The water temperature last weekend was 81 degrees during our radio show on Saturday, and then by Sunday night it was 84.5 degrees. Looking up water temperature right now, it is 81.4, so, or excuse me, 85.4. So water temperatures continue to climb, and remember, kingfish like around 72 to 74 degree water, they start to show up, and then around 78, 79 degree water, they start to leave. Now water is 85, so it's almost 6 degrees hotter than those kingfish like, so they continued north on their fall run and have pretty much evacuated our areas. Don Shewitt, appreciate those 800 stars, my friend. 1,600 stars, I should say. Thank you, Don Shewitt. Jason Richmond, Timothy McCardle, Angel Darling, appreciate those 1,000 stars. Logan Gorman, appreciate y'all. Charles Carter, Jason Richmond, thank you. So John Bull, thank you all for the stars as well. Let's see, any new dock conversations, dockside chats on tap? Yes, we have a few more. That history video really slowed us down. Our camera guy, Philip, put a lot of effort into that history video. And then he's got a really cool one coming up on a shark fishing adventure as well. So we had kind of back-to-back labor-intensive videos, so YouTube content kind of slowed down a little bit. But we have plans to meet up later this week and do some dockside chats. So we're going to get back into that, and we'll have a lot of dockside chats coming up very soon. So stay tuned. YouTube channel is definitely, we got a lot of content coming out on YouTube, more than ever. And we are working on a deal right now to even increase that YouTube content even more. Pretty excited This will be unique because actually all of our YouTube stuff has been polished, professional Hubbard's Marina advertising content. Remember, we used to have Bob Harbison, may he rest in peace. Bob was a guest who went out fishing with us, and he would film things during his fishing trip. Then he got older, couldn't go out fishing himself, so John Martin would film things, send it to Bob, and Bob would turn around and post it to YouTube. So Bob was kind of a fixture, and he did a ton of YouTube videos. And it was posted to Hubbard's Marina, but it was kind of like a customer's point of view. So we are working on a deal to potentially resurrect that. And it'll be pretty cool, and I'm pretty excited about it. So more news on that coming soon, but potentially more coming out on that. And more videos, more content for you. And it won't be like polished advertising content. It will be from the eyes of a guest and through the lens of a guest, edited by a guest. So it'll all kind of be a little bit more informal and organic, I guess you could say. So I'm excited. Have you ever tried using a double snap ring to give jigs a little more flutter? That sounds silly, Tony. Like using Duke's mayonnaise instead of Hellman's mayonnaise. No, I would not. Personally, I'm a really big believer in less is more and keep it simple. And I really like if I'm looking to give more flutter or more movement to a jig, a loop knot. The Rapala loop knot is my favorite. So a loop knot works really well, and then you've got a nice big loop, and that jig can move more freely. Sometimes you need those split rings, like for slow pitch jig fishing. You gotta have a split ring because you have a ball bearing swivel, you have a assist hook, and then you have a jig. So you need a split ring in there. But if it doesn't require a split ring, like sometimes those inshore lures. I can't think of a specific example, but like Yozuri, sometimes they'll have a swim bait or a diving plug, and they'll have a snap swivel on the lure. And the reason that snap swivel, or not a snap swivel, they'll have a split ring on the lure. And the reason that split ring is there is because they know most people are just going to tie a knot to that lure. And if you just tie a knot to that lure, it doesn't give the lure action. So I take the split ring off the lure and I tie a loop knot. So now I have no split ring, a little less terminal tackle, a little bit more natural presentation in my mind. But to each their own, I think. What else we got here? Are people catching a lot of pompano right now? No. We haven't had the crazy pompano catches really anywhere. But I have been seeing some pompano, very hit or miss. Good question. What is considered a head boat in the eyes of federal management? A boat that carries 15 or more passengers? Who participates in the Southeast Regional Head Boat Survey? So the definition of head boat in the Gulf, I found this out because I was complaining about illegal charters and how many illegal charter issues we were having in our area at a Gulf Council meeting on public record, not realizing that the head of NOAA law enforcement was in the audience behind me. And he didn't like that I was basically saying that he does a crappy job. So I got a little targeted, a little revenge targeting, if you will. He no longer works there. He retired shortly thereafter, being defeated. So long story short, I was complaining about legal charters. He then came up to me and said, hey, you know, Hubbard's Marina is an illegal charter, and you can't run your 39-hour trips the way you run your 39-hour trips because it's illegal. And he was trying to tell us that we had to go out there on a 39-hour trip, and so you're allowed a 2-day bag limit. So you're allowed 4 red snappers. So he was trying to say, because in 1996 there was a consolidation of federal regulations by some person in a cubicle in Washington, D.C. And because of this consolidation, the interpretation of a bag limit and day got convoluted, and he was trying to say it was illegal for us to go out there on a 39-hour and catch 4 red snapper in the first 24 hours of the trip. We had to go out there in the first 24 hours of the trip. You're only allowed 2 red snapper, and on the 24th and a half hour, then you can catch another 2 red snapper. So I was like, all right, so if I leave the dock and come back to the dock, I'm allowed 4 red snapper. Why does it matter when I catch them? And if I'm able to fish more efficiently and effectively and go out and target this species and then that species and then that species, I'm lowering discard mortality, I'm fishing more efficiently and effectively, and I'm allowing our professional fishing fleet to operate and prosecute the fishing more effectively and efficiently. So I won. And it took me through 2 official meetings to propose and then execute and pass federal regulation to make our fishing trips legal again, and he retired. So throughout that process, I did a lot of research, a lot of phone calls, and a lot of time, energy, and effort, all because I showed up to a meeting and complained. So be careful, but the definition of a headboat in the Gulf of Mexico is just whether or not you're participating in the Southeast Regional Headboat Survey. So you could have a charter boat in the Gulf with 75 people on it. There's charter boats in the Gulf that take 120 people fishing. It's basically a headboat. It's a party boat. But they call it a charter boat because it's not operating inside the Southeast Regional Headboat Survey. So literally there is no definition of headboat in the Gulf. It's just whether or not you're included in the Southeast Regional Headboat Survey. And pretty silly. But to go back to the story I was telling, in that process, the Gulf Council does something interesting. They keep archives on their website. So you can go back to any meeting ever and look at the archives and look at the meeting notes. And so like early 90s and obviously in the 80s and previous, the meeting notes were handwritten. So you can go into the archives and you can just sit there at home and access this treasure trove of how the history of how this regulation came about, and you can see what people talked about because they took meticulous meeting notes of this person said this, well this scientist said this, and this is what they decided on. So I went back to Refish Amendment 1, which was passed in 1988. It was the first ever regulation in the Gulf. And in Refish Amendment 1, in those handwritten notes, it talks about Captain Wilson Hubbard and the party boats fishing out of Madeira Beach on multi-day 30-hour trips. And that is the reason Captain Wilson Hubbard going to those Gulf Council meetings is the reason you're allowed a 2-day bag limit on those trips, because that is the time in 1988 where they made that exception for if you're out greater than 24 hours, you're allowed a 2-day bag limit. And that was because my grandfather was at those meetings and got that regulation passed. That was the precedent set. Pretty interesting. And I didn't even know that until I started doing that research, so it's pretty cool. All right. One more question, and then we'll close this thing out. What do we got? Will a snap swivel affect the way a jig swims? Yeah, for sure. I would never use a snap swivel on a slow pitch jig because a snap swivel has that extra swivel. You want to tie specifically to a ball bearing swivel. The ball bearing swivel then goes to a split ring, and the split ring has assist hooks in the jig. Very specific ball bearing swivel, not a barrel swivel. So definitely want to make sure you don't do snap swivels. Don't skip a step. Don't make it easy. If it's easy, it's not worth it. All good things in life are hard. All right, let's see here. We got to do our 39-hour giveaway. But before we do our 39-hour giveaway, remember Tuesday night. So not tomorrow night. Tuesday night, we've got our in-person event, myself and Capt Mike Anderson over there at OCC Roadhouse. Hopefully everybody will come and join us. Again, Tuesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. at OCC Roadhouse. We're going to be giving away rods. We're going to be giving away coolers, Engel coolers, Bull Bay rods, Real Animal swag, Hubbard's Marina swag. It's going to be a great time. Great food, great drinks, great location. So come on down and join us Tuesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. at OCC Roadhouse. Now it's time to give away our 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. Remember, this show happens live every Sunday night, so hopefully we'll see you guys next week and every Sunday night right here on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. For our live stream show, make sure you tune in and join us every Sunday night. And tell your friends as well, because hopefully you guys can all join us every Sunday night and all your friends as well. So share the message, spread the message. Remember, our 39-hour giveaway is brought to you by our friends over there at Innovative Pools and Spa. Innovative Pools and Spa brings you 35 years of experience building pools and spas in the Tampa Bay area. They're continuing the legacy of their father's company, recognized as a top pool builder in the Tampa Bay area for over 3 decades. Plus, they continue to raise the bar in pool construction design and features. They have an unparalleled passion for the industry. Call them today at 727-788-1650 or visit them online at innovativepoolsandspa.net for an estimate and see why they are a top choice for families in our community. Also, don't forget, Supporters After Show. Josh, what time? 8:45, Supporters After Show. So if you are in our Supporters Club, it's only $4.99 a month. You get access to our private after show, our private group. You get more communications, behind-the-scenes info, schedules, and much more. So think about becoming a Supporters member. We'll see all of our supporters in the Supporters After Show at 8:45. Don't forget to vote daily. Don't forget to check out our new online store. Don't forget to join us Tuesday night at OCC Roadhouse. And don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Let's see who won that 39-hour fishing trip brought to you by our friends at Innovative Pools and Spa. Lucky winner is Dan Netto. Congratulations from New Tampa. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week for another episode. Thanks for watching. Appreciate everybody for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family. We'll see you for the Supporters After Show at 8:45. We'll see you next week for another episode. Tight lines, we're out.